song like 3 more times. What's up, everybody? This is the Ripple Effect. Whoa, I'm already fucked up. The Ripple Effect podcast. This is kind of a special night because it's the first time me and Dave has had some guests with us. We got our buddy Kevin and Chris, and they're just gonna be throwing in some opinions, telling some stories, making this shit as silly as possible.
They're more here to just test out the equipment.
Yeah, everything works, guys. You can leave.
I think my microphone works.
So just to kind of update everybody on the episodes, we do have episode 2 out. This is 3. Please keep downloading this shit. We're getting a lot, more attention than I ever expected. I appreciate everybody who gives a shit about our rants and opinions and stories, and I think it's really cool that this is even getting any attention.
You know what? That's a good point. We're actually getting a lot more than we expected. We expected, local friends and things like that. But if you're out there, you're listening to this, you're liking it, you can reach Ricky through Twitter. You can hit our Facebook
and you
page.
got a Twitter account.
Yeah. So I'm Scary Dave.
That's not his real name. That's his Twitter tag.
So throw us a tweet. Throw Ricky a tweet or hit the Facebook page and let us know who you are, what you're listening to.
And suggestions like, if you have any opinions. I mean, I'm definitely open to any, any opinions if people love it or hate it, whatever. I definitely broke the record the last show with, what did I say? Something. But it definitely, it's amazing how when you're being recorded, you think you're not talking any differently, and then you listen and you're like, holy shit, I kept trying to catch myself, and you try to sound a little bit more intelligent because you don't want to sound like a dumbass.
But when I listen to you,
That's
it
like
sounds normal. It sounds fine. I think you're just more critical of yourself.
Yeah,
I think you come across perfect.
Yeah, that could be it. But so and definitely if anybody wants to rate any of our episodes, I guess that helps with iTunes. I guess that's one of the ways they rank the podcast, is that if you get a bunch of likes or good ratings and reviews, then it goes up on the rating. I'm not sure how that helps either. Maybe if people are searching for podcasts,
I don't know,
that you're higher on the list or whatnot. So that helps. And it seems like we didn't know how long these things were going to be, but it seems like an hour and a half is like our limit.
90 minutes exactly.
Almost, both shows
right
were...
when our eyes start rolling backwards in our head, it's like 95 minutes.
Yeah, we look at the time like, holy fuck, it's been 95 minutes. So it seems to work out that way. So basically keep checking them out, keep downloading them, and, listen to our nonsense. Today... you're probably not gonna learn as much as you did the other shows. So go to episode 4 if you actually want to get any actual anything that could be helpful or knowledgeable. Today's might be a little silly, but that's good when you're with friends. This is like one of my favorite parts about doing this stuff, because
I'm never ever silly.
I know some things.
Kevin's probably gonna tell one joke. He said at dinner that he wants to tell a joke.
Yeah,
and
he's committed. He's committed to one joke.
So tune in, fast forward to the 89th minute when he Googles something good and tells a joke.
They're putting words in my mouth. I didn't see it.
Could be worse.
At least, this is just words
At
tonight.
least it's just words. That's right.
Wait till you start drinking, Kevin.
But actually, one thing I want to touch on is the fact that Chris is right. That is a badass Iron Maiden poster.
Love Iron Maiden.
Me and Chris are huge Iron Maiden fans. I don't care what anybody says. Black Sabbath might have been one of the ones who got all the credit for like the beginning of metal. But I say Black Sabbath might have created it, but Iron Maiden perfected it.
They just did it better.
They did do it better. And
They were like the
They're way
theatrical
better
version of Black
technical
Sabbath.
musicians. Seriously.
oh yeah, absolutely. And I just think their riffs and stuff like that, they were just so ahead of everybody else. They had their best. How many artists can you say that the best part of the song was when there was no vocals and just crazy musicians?
Yeah, because if you listen to the vocals, they're kind of cheesy.
Well, at that time it was
they're
badass.
cheesy as fuck. I know, but
You know, it was weird when
I mean, you're
I
singing
thought
about,
they
like,
were.
Dungeons
I
and
always
Dragons
loved
and-
Iron
It's
Maiden
like-
vocals.
It's
Really?
like storytelling. Really.
I
They're
love
just
that.
telling. It's
I
like
love
they're
that.
telling like a movie in song, basically.
Bruce, like
Everyone
with
in
one,
their songs
Bruce was the original Captain Morgan, Captain
with his
Pose.
one foot
Yeah.
up on the
Hey guys,
speaker.
just to clear up what I said before we hit record, try to let people get a word out before you interrupt them. But
This is
Are we
like dinner.
recording?
This was like dinner. Exactly.
It happens.
But they're definitely badass. Well, my actually first T-shirt, my first band shirt was that. If anybody's watching this on YouTube, it's Eddie holding the ripped up British flag, and I believe it's a
For the
trooper.
trooper. It is
Yeah,
a
your
trooper,
microphone's gotta fix that. And
flopping down over it.
but it's a trooper shirt. It was my first shirt, so it kind of has a special spot in my heart. And it is true that when I first started listening to that type of music,
Was that your first show?
No, it wasn't my first show. I've actually never seen them. Chris, you have.
I've seen Maiden live.
Who do they
were
play
sick,
with?
dude.
Machine Head? No, that was Metallica. You saw
No.
it, right?
Yeah, it was Metallica, Machine Head, and Godsmack. Godsmack put on a really good show.
Wow.
And they're local heroes.
I want to know who your first show was because you're the big music guy.
That's a good question. Who was my first show? I'm gonna have to get back to this because honestly,
I think mine was Judas Priest.
was it
Yeah.
my cousin who I want to try to get on this podcast at some point. He played in Exciter, which was a Judas Priest tribute band, and they were fucking awesome. Like this singer killed it. Like
Really?
oh, he was so good, and it was funny because I really appreciated Judas Priest after seeing them live because you didn't realize the musicianship that went into it, and there's something about metal. If you're a musician, it seems like that's what you get drawn to. If you play guitar, if you play drums, just everything's more technical. I had this conversation with somebody before where I was trying to explain to them how basically if you took away the heaviness, metal almost seems like they understand classical music better than anybody because the note patterns and stuff. So to make my example, I Googled or YouTubed Iron Maiden on piano, and actually there's somebody who plays piano who did like all the songs on piano. And if you only listen to the songs on piano, it sounds like fucking classical
They
music.
sound amazing. Do you
Yeah.
know, you ever heard of Yngwie Malmsteen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, why
He's
am I the only one?
amazing. He's a Swedish guitarist. The man is insane, dude. You got to look him up. He plays classical music.
Even Randy Rhodes.
yeah, Randy Rhodes, yeah.
Ozzy's first guitar
Yep.
player when he left Sabbath was Randy Rhodes, and he was a classically trained musician too. And it comes through. Like just to prove your point, it's true.
Well, my cousin, when he first we talked about playing guitar, he was playing guitar already and then when I got into it, I thought it was awesome that he played guitar, and I'm like, yo, what can you tell me? What tips he's like, listen to classical music, and I'm like, 15 wearing a freaking Slayer shirt saying classical music sucks. What the fuck are you like? That's not gonna help me. And then as I got older, I realized it wasn't so much like appreciating piano or whatnot, but it's the understanding of music. And it's like there's certain things, like there's certain note patterns, because I honestly never took lessons, and because of it there is a sense of like I lose a little bit of understanding how the written music, but I understand it hearing it. So when I play keyboard, if I go to this note to that note, I know it's not right, and then when I go to this note to that
Doesn't
note,
sound right.
exactly, and then it sounds pleasant. And really that's all music is. It's like what's pleasant to to hear. And
Because I took lessons for like a year at Music Men, and then it was either 1 year or 2 years at Falsetti, and I knew how to read music really well. I was really good at that shit. But all they ever hammered into your brain was this shit that you found in a music book, like Mary Had a Little Lamb. Like, I don't want to play this fucking shit. This
you play that
sucks.
on guitar?
Yeah, it's like I'm learning how to play these crappy ass songs I don't care about. Teach me something I want to learn. I'm paying like $15 for a half-hour lesson
To learn
and learning nothing that I want to
How are
know.
you gonna get a kid to pay attention when you like? Chances are, if you're playing guitar, you listen to some badass music most of the time, and then you go in there and they're like, "We're gonna teach you how to play Mary Had a Little Lamb." I'd be like, "Fuck this place."
Can you still play Mary Had a Little Lamb?
No, I have no
Let's
idea.
plug in the guitar.
I dabbled in that for like a minute, and I had the same experience. He was trying to make me play the stuff that the 5-year-olds are playing. I'm just like, that's not why I started doing this.
and that's
Yeah,
what
not why I want to pay you.
And that's how people lose interest, and then they just give up.
And I did give up. That's exactly
You're
what
right.
happened. And I sold my guitar. So
I think that's a huge issue, because the other thing too is that it seems like if a lot of good musicians that I like, they taught themselves. Like Eddie Van Halen, I'm not a huge fan, but he's obviously a really talented guitarist. He taught himself, and there's something about, I think, I remember somebody explaining, if you learn from somebody, you can't help but kind of adopt their style. And if you learn by yourself, you kind of just make up a style, And I think that's probably one of the reasons why a lot of good guitarists didn't get lessons, and then you almost have to break that mold of like finding your own sound. It's like somebody teaching you how to dance a certain way, like Kevin with his hip movements. And
He's like Shakira.
His hips don't lie.
His hips don't lie, no. And so
it's
while
all on the swivel. Thanks.
what did you say?
It's all on the swivel.
It
Are you
is
talking about a chair or dancing?
The swivel chair. I'm talking about my swivel chair.
Oh,
What do you
okay.
think I'm talking about?
Makes sense.
your hips that don't lie.
Oh, yeah.
And but I lost my train of thought. God damn it, Kevin.
Something about
dancing,
music.
something about Kevin swiveling his hips just gets you off track. But where were we? Yeah, so it's
Music,
true.
yeah.
You adopt the style, and it's nice to kind of. It seems like it's a longer process learning by yourself, because there's so much shit that like eventually as I got older and like computers came, you know, I'm like, dude, I can just YouTube shit, you know? And I started YouTubing shit. I'm like, fuck, that's how you do that. And it's like, I'm like, I just spend like, you know, hours, you know, of my life trying to figure something out that I was doing wrong, you know, like certain chords that you're like, why doesn't this sound right? You know, or tuning or whatever. So the nice thing about today, and we talk about this a lot, it seems, is because I think we're in a very revolutionary time for technology, where now it's like you can get lessons online. Who the fuck would pay for lessons? You can probably go online.
no
you
point.
can learn anything online.
Online, yeah.
Anything on YouTube. Like stupid stuff like how do I
Dance?
fix this, or how do I put this
How do
together?
I swivel my
Like,
hips?
In a
How do
swing.
I-
Kev, you should put a swivel.
How do I
hip
field
video
strip
out.
this new gun I just bought? It's like anything's on YouTube.
Well, that would probably get a lot of hits if it was Kevin in a serious manner trying to teach somebody how to dance. And then
very serious manner.
on the bottom it says like, do not try this at home, or this is a professional in a close off road, or is that a car commercial? I don't know, whatever. Anyways, but actually speaking of that YouTube video is getting really popular, you should tell that story to Chris that you told us about Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know if you guys. I mean, it's probably widespread now, but I know there. I was telling Rick that I'd seen this just like everybody else who's seen this. It started out as it's like this twerking video. I know, like twerking is now a big part of our lexicon here.
Well,
but
people who don't know what twerking
Kevin,
is,
it's like swiveling your hips.
yeah, it's like doing what Kevin does.
On
But this girl,
on somebody's genitals.
Just
So
watch
this-
Miley Cyrus.
yeah, exactly. And you know what? I think it was Miley Cyrus that made this
Made it
this whole
popular,
thing
yeah.
happen. But what happened was this girl, you know, there was a video on YouTube of this girl standing on her head, twerking, and up against a door. And her roommate opens the door, knocks her over. She smashes a glass table, hits some candles. Her leg catches on fire. She screams. So that's the video, and it gets like 1 million hits. So to wrap it up, she's being interviewed on the Jimmy Kimmel Show, and they're doing it through Skype. And Jimmy Kimmel starts asking her questions, and he says, "You know, it seems to me like there's more to that video. Is there more to that video?" And she's like, "Yeah, there is." So she's on the stage with him, and they end up showing the video. And after she falls over and her leg is on fire, Jimmy Kimmel comes into the room and puts it out with a fire extinguisher and gives a thumbs up to the camera. So it turned out that they had just put this video out on YouTube, just the twerking leg on fire part, in hopes that it would catch on. And it did. It became like 1 million plus.
Didn't you say they
hits.
did nothing to promote it?
They did nothing to promote it other than put it out. And as a matter of fact, they put it out under this girl's, you know, pseudonym. She had no other videos out, so it just caught on. I think because they had used the word twerking. But it was huge. It was in the news and everything.
Doesn't that
Wow,
tell you something
that's
about
crazy.
people?
It's just a huge social experiment. That
It is.
worked.
But it was genius,
Yeah,
man.
it
It
is.
was absolutely genius. You gotta Google, just put in Jimmy Kimmel and twerking. It was the coolest.
Well,
piece
I think
he ever did.
it says something about today because of YouTube and the internet. People are getting famous for absolutely nothing. Like you can be an overnight sensation because I mean, look at Daniel Tosh and Tosh Monroe.
Right.
Those people are like. You know, like, well, what in your butt? I get people singing that shit all the time. Like, you'll be like, where the fuck is that even from? I'm like, that's from that. Oh, yeah. And it's like, he's like a celebrity. Like, people know
Who
him.
was that? Who was that guy we watched that one night there? I don't remember. Ironically, I don't remember anything this kid said. It was the rapper kid.
Krispy Kreme.
Krispy Kreme.
That was ridiculous.
I made out with every girl in the world.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
Dude, it's funny because,
was awesome.
and he actually did some videos afterwards that weren't that bad. But he definitely seemed like he was mildly retarded in that interview.
He probably is.
He is.
And
There's
but
no doubt.
but yeah, somebody like that could just be famous. The cool thing about technology is that even this can happen. Promote like this is in my basement with we have like a lot
In
of
case you didn't notice.
in case you didn't notice, and there's a lot of equipment, but it's
but
still
it's the basement of a mansion, a sprawling
It looks like
estate.
every other professional studio.
No, really. I've never been in one. So I
It's
don't
like
know.
every professional studio I've ever been in.
Exactly.
But the cool thing is that you don't need mainstream help from anything. Like music, like my music project, same thing. The only reason I had the capability of doing this podcast or doing the Theory 6 music project and be able to actually get any attention whatsoever was the fact that it's 2013, and I could promote everything on my own. And the cool thing about that is that now I think we're going to get even better arts. We're going to get better music. We're going to get better creativity, because before you're discouraged because it's like, okay, I'm going to write this great, song, or write this, great beat, or do this, whatever. And even people who do skits and stuff like that, and then, a couple friends are like, oh yeah, we like doing skits, so let's tape it, put it online. And so you're going to be exposed to all this really cool stuff. And it's going to, one, it's going to be easier for us to reach all these people who do it. And two, it's going to promote people to try to do it, because of the fact that, you can actually reach some people. So, like the music project, or even this, like there's people all over the place, all over the country, even domestic radio only reaches an area of the state, So the fact that somebody in like Egypt could be listening to this in like hours after I upload it is fucking crazy.
It's like there's no
mind-blowing.
boundaries anymore.
Yeah, fuck borders.
That's right.
And it's
Term down.
yeah, you're right. But we've talked about this, how it seems like even though all this evidence says we should be more connected, in a way we're more disconnected.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like we're all connected online,
Because
but
we're hiding in a basement right
because we're
now.
hiding in the basement. You're right. I mean, it's well, the other thing too, it's like, the phone thing drives me fucking crazy. Like the fact that you go out and you always see the dudes who are like interesting, talking and having a good time and laughing, and then you see the people who are on their phones. They look up just to take a Facebook picture, say how much fun they're having, and then they continue on. And it's just like, you're not in the conversation. You're not connecting with people. You're not enjoying that experience. You're not actually listening. You're just there as a person. The crazy thing is, they will text message somebody that, that's not there. And then when that person is there, they'll text message somebody else. So it's like, why? You really want to talk to this person until they're like there. And then you become obsessed with just talking through text messaging. And it's
Have you guys ever gone to work and forgotten your phone? And felt how liberating it is not
No.
to have to answer it?
Not when you need it for
That-
work. Like
I don't know.
on
I don't
the road.
I don't need my phone for work. What I do, sit at a desk.
I
got
do.
email,
I
whatever.
drive a
I
truck,
have a
so I
phone.
need it like on the road. I use it for like the maps. Sometimes I gotta call dispatch, all kinds of stuff.
I know, but it's so nice. Just not
or just
have it. You don't
emergency-
get bothered all day
Or just
long.
for
It's sweet.
emergency purposes. You're like, I forget it. I'm like, what am I
Kevin,
doing?
that's
Fuck.
that's what you do when you hang your head out the window. Help, help,
Hey,
help me,
help, I'm not just moving my hips, I'm being raped.
help me, I'm drowning.
But yeah, no, I have forgot my phone before, and at first you panic because you're like, holy fuck, and then like within the first like 15 minutes, like you're like, okay, I've coped with the fact my phone is
do not have my
I do not have my phone, and after that I'm fine. And then he's right, Chris is absolutely right. There is something about like you're not distracted when I'm more focused at work. Like if an inspector comes to talk to me, I'm not like looking at my phone while he's talking and realize like we're building the wrong thing because I didn't listen.
How about this though? You ever not have your phone in your pocket and you feel it going off, and you're like,
Yep.
"Oh no, that's
Oh,
not my
is that,
phone.
is that like a
Wait, it's
phantom
vibrating.
leg?
It's a phantom text." I just
Well, they
received a
call the
text.
phantom vibrate or something like that when your phone sometimes
Phantom vibrator.
the phantom vibrator.
I think they sell
Phantom.
that at bookends.
Okay, I always say Google some of the shit we talk about. Do not Google that. That should not be Googled. Just like I messed up. Kevin corrected me. The first, I think, episode 1, when I said enter. I should have said Enter Shikari. It's a band that I was talking about, and instead I said Enter Shakara. And anybody,
It's Enter Shikari,
Shikari,
not Shakira.
Shakira, yeah.
Like
so
like the awesome chick that swivels her ass. That's so good.
yeah,
Swivels her ass.
okay, Kevin,
Yeah.
keep your pants on.
Oh,
But
I'm sorry.
But yeah,
say
so anybody who Googled that accidentally and got some dirty porn, have your wife call me. I'll explain. It was my fault, my B. But yeah. So I definitely think that the cell phone thing is a good. I think in all aspects of technology, there's a lot of good, but there's a lot of bad. Like you can use it to download porn all day, or you can use it to like learn something. It's like there's this guy Aaron Swartz. I don't know if you guys know about him. He was like the computer genius young kid who committed suicide, and he was downloading a bunch of like Harvard. I don't know if it was books. Or like I always say, like 90% of my story is gonna be correct. The other 20% or 10% you're gonna have to Google because I fuck up.
They're
some
in
of
the neighborhood.
And then where I'm like in the zone
In the
of
vicinity.
some of the story will be truthful and or be correct. So this guy, he was downloading a bunch of stuff and he was sharing. He was like one of those old school open source people who believe that like, software, everything should be free online, and you shouldn't have to pay for stuff. And so he was downloading stuff and sharing like all these books and all this information from like, the schools and with people. I think it was people like overseas and stuff. Like it was some not Middle Eastern, like some African country or I don't know what it was, but he was sharing it with obviously people who didn't have that information. And so the government gets him in trouble. They bring him to court. They harass the shit out of him. He got to the point, I think they said he might, he was really close. Everybody was saying there's a good chance he's going to get 20 years because of all the things that just build up that they got on him. All these hacking laws and all this other stuff. And the kid ended up killing himself. And it's just like, he ended up committing suicide. He ended up hanging himself, which it's like a wicked sad story because, I think that eventually a lot of shit's going to be, even today, most shit's free. We don't pay for a lot. When you look at compared to, when I was growing up, well, I had computers when I was growing up, but even, generations before me, before computers became very affordable and everybody had them. Well, I remember even like when I was in my first band, our keyboardist had a computer and like I didn't because my parents are from Portugal and they don't buy anything unless it's a necessity. And getting a computer was not a necessity.
It cooks things.
Exactly. And it definitely wasn't a necessity because they didn't even know what the fuck it was. It was just like a microwave with a keyboard. They didn't know what it was. But
it's a TV
A flex
typewriter.
capacitor.
and
1.21 gigawatts.
but so.